I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. Hey everybody, gonna welcome you back to another session. A great session we have today with me, Warren Werbitt, otherwise known as the Print Whisperer, or call me whatever you want. Today we have Lisa Brooks from Brooks Litho. Did I get the name right?
Yes, full name Brooks Litho and Digital Group.
Brooks Litho and Digital Group. For those listening, do not forget that. Welcome, Lisa. Always great to have you. I mean, the first time, but it's fun the same.
Well, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Tell me a little bit about Brooks Litho and Digital Group.
Yes, so we are family owned and operated. Started in 1998 by my father, who I'm very proud to still work with this day, David Brooks. We are sort of a full service provider, do pretty much anything from your basic to your real complex projects. Pretty much can put ink on anything.
Cool. Or toner.
Or toner.
Things have changed just a little.
A little bit. Still considered ink.
Cool. So let me, when Senior Dave started the company, what was he doing then?
So he actually worked before he came into business. He was working for an advertising agency that was looking to start up a print division. And until that point, he actually started as an industrial art teacher way back in the day, and he taught print. Which was great. And I think that I know he's cursing himself for this these days, but he just felt teaching was very bureaucratic and wanted to leave, which he wound up doing. I think a situation came up that he felt that this really ethically wasn't for him. And he became a salesperson. So he moved around in the city. He was a print salesman for a really long time and then went to work for this ad agency. And they wanted a print division. And he started to realize he was doing all the work. They really weren't doing a lot. And the agency he could kind of see the writing on the wall. It was going to go belly up. And he said, if I'm already doing it, why not do it for myself? And so I remember being there, as a kid, seeing the logo when it was first designed and just, thinking to myself, I think I want to do this when I get older. So, so that's how he started. And he brought my mom in several years later. And I came right out of college. I worked part-time in high school, and then I came straight out of college, and, I've kind of been here ever since. So
have you taken it over yet?
Sort of.
I wasn't looking for an answer. I was just making a joke.
No. Well, believe it or not, sort of. If you ask him, I run the show. If you ask me, I tell him he runs the show.
Well, yeah. If you ask him, he says that because your mother trained them. So that makes sense.
Yeah, really. Well, he knows.
And when he started, was it like small presses? Was it half offset?
Believe it or not, he actually, his roots were as a broker at first, if you can believe it. And then he started to feel that he wanted more control. And so he started to put equipment in. And really, it became big in the mid 1990s when digital really became a thing. And
everybody was making money in print.
Exactly. And we were actually the first in the area to put a digital print in and to actually digital press in, and to go totally filmless. So that was our big thing, is that we had the first Indigo on Long Island. We had the ePrint 1000 for those of you who've been around.
One was for parts, right?
Back then it was crazy, and it was rough. There were a lot of problems with that. And, the ePrint was going for half of what we bought it for like a year later. So it was rough there for a while. And then, we just continued to add some digital equipment. And then we realized that we were getting a lot of work that was even in the offset realm. So we even put an offset press in at the time.
Cool. What kind of offset press?
At the time, it was a Speedmaster 74, Heidelberg Speedmaster 74 5-color.
Any offset now?
A couple of offset presses, mostly, honestly, our roots really now, we're doing a lot more digital. We still do the offset when needed, but it's a lot digital. I mean, HP is really kind of our baby. That's where our
bread. Yeah, no, HP's come a long way, and the services that they offer and everything that comes along with it is pretty good. Pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, your father, when he started from a broker to a printer, after he's probably thinking, should have stayed a broker. Then he's thinking, shit, I should have stayed a teacher because now I'd be retired and have a pension.
Well, that's exactly what he's saying right now. He's like, God damn, if I was a teacher, I'd be retired now. But he loves it, and he could be, obviously he's taken a step back from where he was, but it's, he enjoys it. This is his life. We joke that everyone says ink, when you're in this industry, ink is in your blood. For him, I really believe it is. And this is, that's, it's, so
And then they
it's,
write all over you too. So the ink is like on the outside also.
there you go. But yeah,
What?
for him, he loves it. I don't think he'll
Listen,
ever
you
forget
know
the
what?
ink.
I've been at it for a long time, and even though I don't own a plant anymore, and sometimes wish I did, but sometimes wish I didn't, and happy I don't. I think print is the greatest thing on the planet. I
Yeah.
think that every business, everything needs us to survive, to either promote what they do, to sell what they do. It's part of what they sell. Hospitals with the instructions and the directions, and the pharmacies with the drug
Mm-hmm.
companies with the print and the labels. Like, I just feel that we as an industry don't hold ourselves up high enough in terms of what we do, the money we spend, the investments we make, the training, to give all those other companies the special effects, the color, the
Mm-hmm.
packaging, the finishing,
Yeah. I mean, I
right?
think a lot of people take our industry for granted a lot. And I don't think they realize how often they interact with something that has been printed. I mean, even these days with the, increase in social media and influencers and all these things, when they're getting these boxes that are coming to their homes to promote a product, it's coming in a box. It's coming in something that's been printed, that's, usually super, super cool. It's got branded material inside, whether that's a t-shirt or a glass of some sort, or, whatever product packaging is inside. All of that, they're interacting with print. I mean, people also made such a big deal when airline travel came back about, where are the menus? We want our menu when we're sitting in first class or business class. Those are printed. And people, you're so used to sometimes hearing a lot of people say print is dead. It's not.
First of all, if you're in the luxury market and you go buy a Hermes bag, not that
Mm-hmm.
I ever have bought one for anyone, nor will I, hopefully not, unless I get brainwashed and hypnotized. But the box it comes in it's a setup box. It's beautiful. All the finishings, they emboss, they do this inside the wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyways, I don't have to tell you. You look like you know about Hermes already. But
Please.
whatever. Listen, we're talking and I'm laughing. So I woke up this morning. A friend was mine who was here yesterday, and he gave me a little gift, and I'm gonna do a little video after. And I put on the T-shirt this morning because I want to wear it when I do the gift. But he gave me, oh my God, I got a Grateful Dead box. It's a label that has probably printed on a silver foil and then on top. I don't think it's hot stamped, but it could be hot stamped. Open it up real quickly, and it's printed on the inside. The back is matte lamb, right, with a little thing. And then inside, I have the emblem to put on the back of my car. It's pretty cool. But look at the inside. It's printed. It's hot stamped.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dead and Company, and all that print, like just a little thing. So I think everyone who says print's dead is pretty stupid. I don't think they think, and I don't say that in a mean way.
Right.
No, you know what? I've learned that stupid's not good to say. They're just ignorant.
That I think they lack the knowledge and the awareness, because it's for us, it's something that we deal with every single day. We're looking for it. And a lot of times, if you're not looking for it or you're not really paying attention, you'll take that for granted or not really think about it.
Yeah. Hey, I paid more music, more Dead and Company. I paid
music.
$7 for this little die cut label. Somebody made a lot of money.
Right.
And I'm thrilled because I love my label. Right? Everywhere we look, everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your favorite thing to do in print?
Oh goodness.
Aside from going home at the end of the day.
Now, you know what? I have so many things that I enjoy about this, but I think my favorite piece. Yeah, I think my favorite about this is two. My favorite is when a client comes to us with an idea, and it starts as just that idea. And we have to go through sort of all the rounds of comps and changes and tests and ways to execute it. And then seeing that final product, getting it into the hands of whether that be the general public or the other business or the end client, and just getting that reaction and seeing what it became, to me, is the most exciting and the most rewarding, because you realize where that started. It may have started from just a blank folded dummy in your hands, and now it's this beautiful printed piece. And there have been a couple of those that we've really been proud of, because we've won Benny Awards for those, the Premier Print Awards, which is really neat.
Benny?
Nope, never met him.
Little. I don't even know who Benny is, but
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, you gotta update it.
I don't think he exists anymore. I think.
No, I know. I put him up there with the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken. We need some young blood to talk about.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can't
But
forget about who created this industry. Can't forget about our ancestors.
no. He just he'd be rolling over in his grave if he saw what we did with it.
Probably.
Okay, so I'm going to switch topics. So, as a woman in the industry, tell me, how is it? How dealing with the manufacturers, dealing with whoever, whatever?
It's gotten better. I will say that it was difficult for a very long time. And I think especially for me, because I was so young when I started, that I sort of had the double
You're
whammy
still
of
young,
being,
no?
depends.
You're supposed to say thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Seriously. Okay, go on.
I don't feel it, but um, no, but really starting as essentially a kid. I was fresh out of college. What was I, 20, 21 years old, and, being a woman and really not having the respect. This was when I started, a very male dominated industry. And even when I went to college, I think it was like one girl for every 3 or 4 guys. I mean, it was, the guys were not really happy about that back in school.
Bad for dating.
Very bad for dating.
Right, yeah.
But it was a very male dominated industry. And back then, because a lot of it was, hanging plates on a press or doing something very technical that, most women didn't really want to be involved in. But I think the industry has really evolved where, you've got so many of the organizations now, Girls Who Print, you've got the Women in Print Alliance, you realize how big, our representation, if you will, has become as women in this industry. And I think that people are really starting to respect that a lot more than maybe they did, 15 or 20 years ago, which is great. And I don't really sort of get that feeling anymore. There used to be a feeling of intimidation, and you don't really get that anymore. People respect your knowledge.
In talking to others, I think that still exists
A little bit.
because we have a bit of the, some old school legacy thinking out there. But
Yes.
I think, for the most part, it is getting better. I think just life in general, for the most part, people just have to respect people for being people. It doesn't matter what your gender is.
Exactly. I mean, I think, and that can be said all around. I think people start to, you're starting to see that transition. And like you said, you're always going to have sort of those old schoolers, those old timers that until they're completely out of the industry, you're still going to have a little bit of that. But I really believe you're starting to see that shift where people, once they realize what you're talking about, once they know you have the knowledge, they tend to shut up. They tend to realize, okay, she knows what she's talking about.
Probably more because they don't want to get caught saying something they shouldn't. Right? I think first of all, in general, I think there's more and more information out there. So more and more people are educating themselves. And I think it's harder to, run the bullshit across people today. And everyone has to be more accountable for what they do. So I think it's changing.
Yes. I think it'll always be a work in progress. And I think that, we'll hopefully one day it won't be. But for now, I think that, the direction that it's headed in is positive.
Listen, I'm all for it. It's what you got to do. I was actually going to make a joke, but I stopped myself because I didn't know how it would be perceived. But I think I'll tell you after. Tell me if it's funny. If you think it's funny, I'll repeat it after.
Okay.
But what do you call it? Yeah, but it's definitely important, and we got to make a push for the younger people.
Yes.
Man, woman, or other. I mean, today it's all changing, but we got to get more people. The more people we have in, the younger people we have in, the better solutions, the better creativity we'll have, and our industry it's more like a Game Boy these days, right? Because everything is push button, the folders are preset, the presses have pictures on them, and you're looking to see where the thing goes.
It's very true. It's definitely different from the days of when you literally had, your wrench and you were hanging the metal, and, everything was sort of different back then. I think that young people, this isn't given sort of enough credit. I've even noticed that there are very many people, even designers, who are being taught in school how to design for web, but they're not being taught how to design for print.
Do you know how many times I've been with a client and I said, I need a logo, your artwork, and they say, just go take it off the web?
Yep.
And I'm like, 72 DPI? I said, maybe you could have your designer design it on the high end and then downsize it for the web.
And it's crazy to me that these are even how universities are teaching it. And I think that that's been a real big challenge, for our industries to get people to understand, print a CMYK. It's not RGB. You can't use, a 72 DPI PNG file. It might be great for your website. It's not going to translate well for print. And I think the education, getting that out there is important, and letting sort of these younger people know that there's a whole other world out there than just designing for web or social media or any of this. Like, see what else you can do.
Yeah, I think we as an industry should attack the universities for a special day of print training where we do something and we bring people to the plants. I mean, there was a vocational school in Montreal for a bunch of years, like twice a year. I would have the classes come, because they were teaching print, come and walk through the plant. I'd break it up into groups. Everyone would walk on the machines. They'd see how things are done, because no one knows you put a white piece of paper in and then it comes out looking all colorful and nice. And then even after the tours, and we'd be talking and some donuts or snack, whatever, I'd give out portfolios on the company with information. And I'd say, like, whenever any of you are ever ready, please give a call back, or go home and give this to your parents if they're in a position to buy print. Tell them you were here, and they should give me an opportunity. And one person, great. I remember putting up the hand, said, "I think my parents deal with you." And I was just laughing, because as a salesperson, I'm always promoting print because I love print. But as a salesperson, there's not a person I meet that I don't ask, even today, what do they do for print? Any way I could help you.
Which is great.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
Break.
It's ingrained in you. Yeah.
And I love it.
It's
Are
awesome.
you going to Printing United?
I am. I will be there. Atlanta.
Yay, Atlanta.
Yay, Atlanta.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like to go to all the shows.
Yeah. I mean, I see, it's funny, I see behind you all of your show badges. I actually have them hanging in the other direction over me in this way. But yeah, no, I love to attend the shows. I think it's really super important, not only to network with your peers, but to kind of see what's going on, see what people are up to, see what the new technology is, what the new equipment. And I think that that's sort of what's helped us stay relevant, is the fact that we're seeing what's going on, and we're evolving with the times. We're changing. We're making sure that we're on top of what new offerings there might be. And we might not, go out and purchase a press every year, but, we're definitely, okay, hey, maybe we should look into, venturing into this service or venturing into that service, and really just kind of maintaining.
Yeah, I've never gone to a show, whether people say the show is good or bad, because everyone's got their own take. I've never been to a show where I haven't left with something that helps better who I am as a print owner and what I do.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be about machines. It could be about an idea. It could be about meeting a person that I'm going to talk to later on, that I'm going to converse with, that's going to just fulfill whatever needs it is. Always great. I've always been part of peer groups. I mean, because I started when I was so young, it was really, how do I learn as much as I can off other people's mistakes? Because I'm sure I'm going to make a bunch of my own.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then in doing that, first of all, the knowledge that you obtain is priceless.
Absolutely.
And then as you grow, anyone listening, as you grow in the business, when you attend all those stuff, you end up building a name for yourself. And when you build a name, it gives you some other advantages, not that you get in free anywhere, because I don't, but it gives you other avenues into people that are smart that you could call and ask questions and do stuff like that. Like, I would tell everybody, never be afraid to pick up the phone and ask a question. I was the kid that sat in the class where they always said there's no bad questions you could ask. Well, I sat at the back, in the back row by the window, and never asked a question.
Aww.
Didn't turn out so well.
See, but no, it's important, because you are right. I mean, mistakes are going to be made every single day, and it's how you handle them. It's how you bounce back from them that really define you and define you to your clients even. And it's important that if you have a resource that maybe someone's asking you, one of your clients asking you if you know how to do it, and you're really not sure, if you know that there's someone else out there that's got that experience, you can lean on them. And I think that's a really big part of our industry, is that despite how big we are, we're still kind of a tight-knit sort of community where we can rely upon each other, and people are willing to share, their experiences.
Yeah, so some are, some aren't.
Well, some aren't.
Our
competitors aren't.
Yeah, but but you know what? Even competitors, I was always a believer that there are no secrets. And somehow in our industry, everybody in your local areas kind of knows who everyone's bigger account are, or who they service.
Yeah.
And I used to have, when I put in that big 56-inch press, and I used to bring anyone that I could get to come into the place and take a tour, my staff would be like, you can't show them, you can't show them. And I'd say, no, you don't understand. We perfected what we do. If they go and want to try and do it, and they want to try and go to our customer, please go, because when they screw it up, because it took us 7 months to figure out, when they screw it up, our customers are never going to leave us.
Right.
So it's about just having a little confidence and not too paranoid.
But there are situations. I mean, I remember, years and years ago when we had first put the digital equipment in, they weren't in the press business yet. I'm not going to name names, but there was a company who was looking to get into the digital press business that presented themselves as wanting to do work with us to allow us to do their print. And they came in and had a tour of our facility, learned the machine, did everything they had to do. We never saw an inch of print from them, but wouldn't you know, they came out with a digital press to try to rival the Indigo. Right. And it's almost, you sort of get that there are always going to be cutthroat people. And I think there's always going to be those that try.
I knew who was coming in.
Yeah. But I think the thing that you need to remember is exactly what you said. At the end of the day, let somebody go and try to take your account. Your accounts recognize what you do for them.
But my account jumps ship like that right away. I don't really want them anymore.
I mean, that's true as well. There's got to be some loyalty.
I get a little emotional. And if you're going to do that to me, then I don't want to do anything good for you, because I go overboard to keep the relationship so that you come to me, not use me when you need me for my brain or my brawn, and then you go somewhere else.
That's difficult. And that happens an awful lot where you give ideas, and then all of a sudden you find out your ideas are being given to someone else. And now, your price is a little bit higher. So if you'd like to match it, but that's rough too, because
So that one, I will tell you, that has happened to me.
Contention.
And when that happened to me, I went to the owner of the company.
Oh.
Because at that point, I wasn't dealing with that person anymore. I had no trust. But I went to the owner of the company and I basically laid out the story and said, I brought the ideas, I brought the solution. Your vendor of 6 years brought you nothing. And then I'm asked to compete on my idea. Right. I said, that's unethical. Anyways, he got involved.
Oh, wow.
And I got the work.
See, I think, and it goes back to your post on LinkedIn a couple of days ago about the value of what you bring to the industry and to your clients. And I think that that's really important. And sometimes I feel that that's somewhat lost, is when we're looking out for our clients and we're doing what we need to do. You're always going to be able, and I think we're our own worst enemy in the sense that for many, many years, we commoditized. We always were trying to undercut as an industry as a whole. Right. So, but I think as an industry as a whole, people did that. Everyone was like, I'm going to be $5 less. I'm going to be $10 less, just to try to get the work. And we never bought into that philosophy. And even to this day, we'll say, you can go, you'll always be able to find a lower price someplace, whether it's with an online company, whoever it is. But at the end of the day, are you going to get everything out of that other lower price that you're going to get when you're dealing with someone who you trust? You're dealing with someone who's looking out for you. And at the end of the day, is ultimately going to see that job through and make sure that it's the right quality.
Listen, I would say to some people, because first of all, business cards. I don't know why people always judge business cards. They'd say to me 500 business cards. I'd say $250. Well, I can get it for $70. Go ahead. Yep. I said, but you're going to pay up front. You don't really know what you're getting. You don't really know the stock. I said, buy it from me. You get the cards, you pay me after. But if there's a problem, you get to scream at me. I said, the other person, you don't get to scream at. It's a fucking computer.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, I said, no. I said, like, really? I said, and then I always would try to take an analogy for what they do in their business and trim it, and say to them, if that happened in yours, how happy would you feel? And if you're good and you could have a good conversation and you could get the noodle working a little, a lot of them will fall back in, because even if they're embarrassed to make it after because you said what you said.
Right. It's
shame them for the order. No, I'm just kidding.
No, never. But it's there does become a point where I think sometimes you need to maybe let them go. You need to let that person, make that mistake, if you will. And sometimes they do find their way back because they recognize, you know what? Yeah, you were
And
You're
if they
right.
don't, you didn't want them anyways.
Right. Then it's,
Right?
wasn't a good fit.
Okay. On that note, because we can go on and on and on, and we could do
We
this
could.
again. We're going to close this one down. So first, I'm going to say thank you so much for taking the time and joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Always.
To everybody else, I hope you made it this far. I hope you listened to the end. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If there's anything you want to hear, let me know. You have a direct line to me. Just use it. Right now, it's not ringing. You can call. To everybody else, it's Warren Werbitt. I love print, what they think, and we'll see you again soon.